Welcome to the Effortless Swimming podcast. I've got a guest on today who's recently been through the 8-week Faster Freestyle course, which I know many of the listeners to this podcast have. And Yanni, you were in the comments, you were commenting every week about your progress. And I thought this is excellent to hear how well you're going. And you're also a freediving instructor. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the crossover from freediving to swimming as well, but also just talk about your improvement over the last couple of weeks and last couple of months, because it's been great to see that happen in that 8-week Faster Freestyle course. So welcome to the podcast to start with.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how did you come across Effortless Swimming and what we do? Because you obviously got a big background in freediving, and was swimming something that you started to do a bit of cross training, or how did that all come about?
I found you on YouTube. Basically, like I saw some videos because I'm not a swimmer. Like I don't have a swimming background. I'm a sea person. So like I live in Greece and we've always been in or near the water. But like I did, I don't know, like 3 months of swimming, I guess, when I was a kid in a pool, and that was it. So after I started freediving, I realized that swimming is the best exercise you can do for freediving, because you're just in the water, you get a good feel for the water, and like it improves your stamina, your CO2 tolerance, and all these things. And I started to get more into it, and I was looking for videos. Like every once in a while, I would go on YouTube and look for a technique. For example, I like no fins diving, freediving without fins. So you just swim down and swim up. So for that, I was looking into, like the breaststroke kick, for example, like technique for that. So over the years, I guess I have a playlist, like a freediving playlist on YouTube, and I've been adding videos. And since I found your channel, I've been, subscribed and watching everything, like I said, and like listening to everything, just absorbing and sending to people. And it's like, I'm a huge fan.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And so with your swimming, when you first started the 8-week course, where were you at in terms of pace and how comfortable you were in the water?
I think like I was doing some training in open water, because my goal was open water. It wasn't really so much like to compete or do something in the pool. But with open water, it was very difficult to go under the 2 minutes per 100, And
were you tracking that with a Garmin watch, or?
I have a Apple Watch.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not, I know the Garmin is a little bit more, let's say, statistics oriented. You get more feedback, more information. But this is just fine. I had a goal to swim to like a smaller island that we have here, which is 2.4 kilometers. So I was just swimming along the coast, and it was very difficult. I mean, even the 2 minutes was like really hard for me. And I knew it wasn't so much in terms of, the problem wasn't so much strength, but I was doing something wrong. I wasn't gliding in the water well enough. Like my legs were sinking, I was struggling. So I needed help.
And as you went through the course and you picked up some of these things, is that what primarily changed for you? Do you feel like your body position improved? You're able to lengthen out a bit more? Like what were some of those things that sort of struck you as like, oh, I didn't know that before, or something that maybe clicked when you were swimming?
I've watched a bunch of your videos before. So I was trying to apply some things from your videos to what I was doing. But I think in the program, it's structured much better. So you start from like completely basics, which some things I was okay with, but it was good to start from foundations again and start building up. The huge difference for me was, I think like week 7, which was where you like the timing with the kick. That made a huge impact, but it's only because I had the foundation before. Like I worked on the whole thing before, and of course you are training, like 2 times a week, 3 times a week, and you build up the strength and the stamina. But at the same time, I think it's also really nice that you have exercises that are fun. It's not just punishment. There are things that you can do, and like you have fun with it. for me, like intellectually as well, there were times, like I mentioned in one comment, I think, that there's like 4 different things I have to keep track in my head, to swim correctly with like tucking and squeezing and stretching and all these things. But that's what keeps it interesting. And I think the kick timing was the game changer for me, because I am heavy in the water in general. Like even with freediving, I sink like a stone. So it was difficult for me to stay on the surface, especially in the pool where you have less buoyancy. So that was like a big difference for me. Yeah.
Can you talk about the kick timing? What do you think you were doing before, and what did you change?
Before, I think I was kicking the wrong way. So I was instead of like doing the catch and the kick in the same movement, the same timing, I was doing the opposite. So my legs were like splaying a little bit more, and they were dragging behind me. Basically, it was more like an anchor than to push me along. So with that, I'm doing the Twobeat. That seems comfortable, and with the Twobeat, I can do pretty, not 100% tired. I can do like a 130 per 100. So
right. So like if you're going for an all-out 100,
if I go for an all-out, I would probably do better. Yeah, but yeah, I could do less than 130. I'm sure. But I mean, it helps.
Yeah, that's
that I'm told.
A bit of an improvement from 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a huge. I'm super happy, man. I'm ecstatic for this, and it doesn't feel like I can do the 130-ish, and it doesn't feel difficult. It doesn't feel like I'm gassed completely at the end.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, a couple of things there. I mean, with the Twobeat kick, if you're primarily in the ocean, which has the extra buoyancy because of the salt water. It's almost like wearing a wetsuit in a way, because you sit up higher and you often need less of a kick, especially for what you're primarily training for is, that swim across the island, or, you're not, like that. For that sort of stuff, I think a Twobeat kick is really, really good, and it's very efficient as well. Yeah. So that's where a lot of people can just find a really good rhythm and swim for a long time as well with that Twobeat kick. Obviously, 4-beat and 6-beat kick are great as well, and it's different for each person. But particularly for what you're training for, I think that 2-beat kick is probably the best thing to be doing there. And I also, you mentioned you watched a lot of videos and listened to some podcasts, and then you eventually did the 8-week course, and you found it had the structure that helped you improve. And I find if people have watched a lot of the YouTube videos, for example, it's not always extra information that they need. It's they need sometimes just the structure to be able to follow and say, all right, do this now and do this first, then move on to this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing. Because if you have if you've watched a lot of videos over the last year or two, well, you've probably seen a lot of the stuff that we talk about in many of the courses, but because there's just so much to think about, you probably might not be doing it in the right order, or a number of other things. So that's why I think these courses are getting the results that they're getting, is it just tells you what to do, basically. Yeah,
but it's also super important that you're there as well. Like if anyone has a question, you're there to help us, like in the comments in each week, like people are posting their workouts and their times, and then you're there to help and like suggest things and stuff, which you don't get on YouTube. It's a more personal touch from someone who is like super experienced. So you can help, you can identify things more quickly, because you have the experience, and you can help us. Like if we need something, you're there 100% to help. And then I as the trainee, let's say, can see the difference the next training I do, and it's really helpful.
Yeah, no, I sort of debated whether or not I add a comment section where I'll jump in each week and answer them. But I'm glad I did, because I've picked up a lot of things from some of the questions that people have asked, and often there's quite similar questions for each week, and it's helpful for me as a coach to go, okay, well, whenever I'm teaching this topic, then I think I should make a certain point clear. And one of those with the kick timing is that often people think of the kick timing as they should enter with, say, their left hand and kick down with their right hand, which is correct. But for many people, the easy way to think of it is, especially with the 2-beat kick, is right arm catch, right leg kick down at the same time. And so I think it's not really taught like that very often. So people are sort of thinking, oh, isn't it the opposite? But no, it's not. It's just a different way of explaining it. So there's things like that. I want to go into some crossover from freediving, which is your area of expertise, and swimming. So from what you've gone through over the last couple of months, what do you see those sort of crossovers being amongst the two different sports?
I wanted to note as well, like what you said before is really important. Like to get feedback from the students is really good, because then that informs your teaching the next time, you know? Like it's the same with me with freediving. I always ask them, you know, why you did this, and like to give me feedback, and then I can fine tune to the student and to the next students, you know? So for the crossover, there are lots of, if you take a professional swimmer and you try to turn them into a freediver, they're going to destroy everyone, you know, because they have the strength and they have the feel of the water. They have a good technique. They have good CO2 tolerance because of all the swimming that you do. So it just as a form of exercise, it's perfect. But it also translates, I think for me, 100%, because there are different kinds of free diving you can do, right? So you can dive without fins, which means you're just swimming up and down. So the kick for that is a breaststroke kick, right? So you learn how to do a breaststroke
because
kick. It's
more efficient than a freestyle kick, or why do they choose that?
You just kick like this. You're not going to go anywhere if you're trying to go down, you know. So the arm stroke for that is kind of like the breaststroke, but the actual movement is the movement of the freestyle mirrored, right? So if you're,
Gotcha.
I can move it back a little bit. So you go up and you try to push the water behind you like this, right? So it's basically the movement of freestyle, but with both arms. So once, so once you learn to do a nice, to stretch in a nice way with your freestyle, you can stretch up, you can catch the water and pull it behind you. It's the same movement. So you get a better feel for the water. You strengthen the muscles that are going to make this movement for the no fins, and then the kick is the breaststroke kick. There is another style which you go down by down and back up by pulling on a rope. There's a dive line. So you just stretch, you pull, and you again the same. But and again, I think this translates as well, because when you go in, you know, when you're swimming freestyle and you go in, you have to learn to be comfortable to make a nice stretch. Right? You have to be comfortable lengthening your body to have a nice stretch. And for this is called free immersion. So for this, you need to be able to stretch comfortably and as far as possible, so you can have a long pull on the rope. So your pull is going to be longer in distance. And then the most usual kind, which is with bifins, usually like these carbon fins. The freestyle kick, again, like it strengthens your legs. And like if you want to do other kinds of swimming, it strengthens your core as well. So if you want to dive with a monofin, like the big fin that you put both feet in, you need to have a strong core. So again, it translates 100%. And at the end of the day, like why would you do anything else as an exercise for freediving other than something that involves the water, you know? You get more comfortable.
Yeah, I can see why there's so much crossover.
Yeah, you get more comfortable in the water. You have a better feel for the water. I mean, it makes sense for me 100%. And I tell like all my students that they have to swim more.
Yeah, I can see why. The one experience I had with free diving, so like I did a swim trek in Turkey. It's probably 10 years ago now, and I can't remember. We were in Cash at the time, and I don't know how deep the water was, but it was reasonably deep. And my sister and I were swimming out there, and I was comfortable swimming down, getting to the bottom, and coming back up. And so that wasn't free diving, but it was we're still going down reasonably deep, and I was fine with that. But then when I did a very brief free diving course in the Maldives a couple of years ago, and the instructor, we only got the chance to do one sled. Like, with the instructor, we're on the sled going down.
That's fun.
And because I was, it's fun. But I thought, oh, geez, I'm going to be good. Like I'm fit. I'm a swimmer. but then my panic or my fear set in like a lot earlier than I would have thought. And so I don't know how deep I got, but it was like half the depth of some of the other guys. And I was just like, yeah, because I wasn't in control and it was the first time I did it, I was just like, no, I've got to tap him, say, that's enough, and I'm ready to go up. But yeah, when I'm in control of it, it was okay. So like mentally, it was quite, it was a real challenge, which was such a surprise to me. Like I didn't think that fear or that panic would set in because we're going down so fast. And then, I mean, right? You do it.
Yeah,
so
the sled is very particular. Like for me, the first couple of times were scary too because you relinquish control to something else, right? So it's not just me kicking down and kicking back up. I'm on this thing that something might go wrong. It's going super fast and stuff. But then, I mean, once you get used to it, it's fun. But the mental aspect is very, very important with freediving, like mental and emotional aspect. It can completely ruin a dive. You tense up. And it's the same, I think, with swimming, it's the same thing. Like you need to be relaxed in the water. Like yesterday I went, for example, for a little swim in the pool, and it was like super comfortable, and like this time it's been a few weeks that I haven't been, and I thought I'd be super tired, but I was doing a nice, comfortable 2-beat kick, and I was getting around 130, and there was a guy next to me who was moving more, but not swimming as fast, So it's important to have the technique, but it's also important to mentally be there and be able to relax. Because if you're overthinking or if you are stressed or if you're whatever, you can't relax in the water, then it's going to translate, I think, 100% to your speed and your comfort and your endurance,
Absolutely. Even more so for many of the triathletes and open water swimmers that I coach who are racing, those that are newer to open water, there is often quite a bit of fear and panic. And one of the athletes that I do some stroke coaching with online, he's been swimming mostly in a lake recently because he's got a race coming up. And the first group swim that he did, I think it was 1,500 meters that they did, there's only 10 of them, but because it was like a mock race for them just to get that practice. Off the bat, he was like, he had to stop, get his breath, and then go. And then he's like, I started to panic. Yeah. And so it took him quite a while to just relax and get into it. And then he found his rhythm, got into his flow, and he did really well. But it happens pretty often, especially the first time that you do an open water race. And it's quite. I think it's really enjoyable to find those challenges, particularly those mental challenges, where once you get over them, you're just like, man, okay, that's great. Like I feel like I've leveled up. And I can push again. And for me, that thing is like surfing big waves. If I'm out there and it's big, there's not many people out, it might be a dark day. It's like, it's like mentally you could easily go, oh my God, I'm in trouble here. Like what if I get held under? But if you keep your mind in check and then you get out of the water, you had a great surf. It's like, wow, that was really cool. You just feel like you've gotten to that next level. And I found that with long distance swimming too, training for the 20K swim to Rottnest Island was longest I'd done was 10K. But then like once you do that 20K, it's like, oh, it's possible. I can do it, and you just build that confidence.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even when I did the 5K, like I stopped and I was like, okay, I could do more. Yeah, you build the confidence. Like you do like 2, and then I did 3, and I was like, I'll just go for 5 and see what happens. And it was like super comfortable. Like I could do it in the sea. I could probably do a little bit more. I mean, I don't know about the 20, but you build the confidence over time, I'm sure. And I'm really keen.
So you swam to that island, did you?
I did, yeah, I did. That was 2.3 kilometers, and I did it in like 1:56 was the pace.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Did you do that by yourself, or did you have others with you?
I was by myself, but I had my father with a boat next to me for safety. Because now it's like it's sort of in the season now, so there are boats with tourists and so on. So he was next to me, like, I don't know, max 5 meters distance. And I was sighting the whole time. So like, every, I don't know, 10 strokes or something, I would just look up and see where I'm going straight. And he was there next to me the whole time. Yeah.
That's cool. And how did it feel when once you'd done that swim? Like, was it a goal that you had for a while, and did you think it was going to be
I did it again
possible?
last summer with a group, but there it was. I was kind of like responsible for the group, so I couldn't relax that much. And this time, it was very comfortable. Like in a little bit before the halfway mark, I felt kind of tired, but then I relaxed again, and it was super easy. Like I came out. It was the 156. I could have gone faster, I'm sure. Like if I was gonna do just the goal was to go there and swim back. So the idea was to do 5K, but the sea picked up, and then we stopped it on the way back. So if I knew I was gonna do just a 2.3, I could have gone faster. I'm sure, like I could sustain a 140, maybe. I'm not sure, but like I think I could have done faster, and it was comfortable. Like the 156 was very nice, like very comfortable, and I'm happy.
And with
sorry,
with your swimming now, what are you thinking about? What are you working on at the moment with your swimming?
Now I think I have a friendly competition with one of my teachers for a 400. So I want to see what kind of time I get. Like the last time I checked, I mean, the first time I've ever done a 400 and I timed it was 7 minutes, I think. So now, I have to start slowly chipping away at that.
Yeah.
And like the open water, I would like to do longer swims. Like I would like to do a 5K open water, maybe a little bit more slowly. And overall, I want to, like more comfort, like more speed with more comfort, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, getcha. I find when people come to clinics, like so many people will say like that one of their main motivations is to either beat their friends or the people that they swim with, or if it's like a parent who's got a kid who's like 10, 11, 12, they're like, I need to delay them getting faster than me by another year or two because the kid's starting to catch up to them with the speed. So it's, there's nothing like just trying to beat a friend as motivation. Yeah. So that's really good.
It's also great for for me as an instructor. This is super informative because I can help people because for the courses that I teach, they have to be able to swim a little bit, So depending on the level, like level 1 is like, okay, you can swim. Level 2 has to have a little bit better technique. Level 3 has to have even better technique. So with the knowledge that I gained from you and from this program, I can help the students even more.
Yeah, it's great that it's been able to help you with that. For anyone listening to this, what advice would you have them if they want to they want to get faster, if maybe they're sort of stuck with their swimming? And I know we've talked about the 8-week course and that sort of stuff, but just from someone who's improved a lot over the last couple of months, what would be your main advice for them?
I think practice is important, right? Like you need to put the hours in for sure. So it's not something like I'm realizing as a non-swimmer that it's definitely not something that you can get like hugely better at in like 2 trainings, Because I know like you and like a lot of other swimmers have swum hundreds, if not like thousands of kilometers in the pool. So they need to put in the work. But I think the information is there. Like you can find anything on YouTube, right? But you need to have someone that will give you a structure and that can be there for you. That's why I said like the comments are super important. So it's good to have someone that will be there to help you and to have good structure in your training. And the most important, I mean, for me is to enjoy it. Like find a reason to enjoy it. Like if you're just doing it because, okay, let's say you have a goal. I want to do, I don't know, 20 seconds less on the 100 or whatever, like 5 seconds less or whatever. If that feels like a chore, it's not going to be a good thing. Like at the end of the day, it's not going to be a good thing. So it's good to find a reason to enjoy it. And that's why I said like the exercises you have are fun. Like in the warm up stuff is interesting. And One thing I wanted to mention about the kick timing is that for me, like it took a while to figure it out because I was doing it the wrong way. So I think you have one exercise where you just do it on one side first, right?
Mm.
So I had.
But you're only thinking about it on one side.
Yeah. So I had the board on one side, and I was trying to figure it out only on the one side. And I think the right side like clicked first before the left. So, because the one side clicked first, I was like, okay, just do the one side first. Do like some distance on the one side so that it becomes kind of automatic, and then switch to the other side. So it's good to also, you give us like a very good structure, but it's good to be kind of open to listen to your body and like adapt things on the fly to figure it out by yourself, because at the end of the day, I will be by myself. I have your training, which is good, but like I'm by myself in the water. I need to be aware and like try to figure things out. So I think, like practice and like a good coach and being aware of what's going on while you're doing it, not just do it mechanically,
Yeah, tuning into how things feel in the water, because it's very easy to get caught up in your head with so much to think about, especially sometimes during some of these courses, is you can overthink things and then you're just not aware of what your body's doing. But swimming is such a feeling activity that we want to almost like, try and get out of our heads as best we can, while maybe just keeping something in the back of our mind. But yeah, just go by feel. And it's much more enjoyable that way too, rather than trying to cycle through 10 things at once that you're trying to do. So I think that's great advice. So just get in the water enough to be able to improve, like 2 to 3 times a week. 3 times a week is great if you can. I find that's kind of the sweet spot for many people, 3 times a week or more. And having that consistency over time, that frequency is how you will improve. You mentioned obviously technique and structure, just having something to follow. And I look at some of the YouTube comments that I get on some of the videos, and I go, oh, geez, I hope people don't actually listen to what this person said, because I feel like that's completely wrong. So if you're going by YouTube comments, you might get some good advice there, but it's very easy to get distracted and go, okay, maybe I'll try this, but just keep it simple, and and then just you said just go by feel. Just tune into how your body's feeling and how you're feeling, which I think is excellent. So, Yanni, thanks very much for being on the podcast and for being so active in the comments as well on the course, because I love to see that feedback from people, and especially how well you've gone over the last couple of months. It's awesome to see. So, thank you very much.
Thank you for everything.